Hey, what's up everyone, Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be breaking down Fred Kurley's 983, and we'll start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals.
You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video.
Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become.
All right, so really what we want to be able to look a lot into is going to be his start, right? Fred Kurley's start here at the USA Track and Field Championships. This is really the first round, and he just ran such a smooth 983. That first action is to really go out with that arm, okay? And he really even got his head up, right? Got everything up, and even as he goes up, so you can see a little bit with the head, and then he kind of tucks that chin back down underneath, but it allows him to, let's see how much time he spends off the ground, right? We got the 11.4, that when you are trying to get out, right, it's really about getting that foot down, right? Some people really overcoach trying to get a lot of distance on that first step, right? But it's really important, right, to be able to get the foot down instead of trying to be long with that step, okay? Because the better we can get that foot down, then the sooner we're going to be able to really start transitioning. Because we're going to get a bit of a push off with that left leg, okay? Like this ends up being, right, you don't push off at all on that back foot, right? You really just come right forward and through. We want to get into the right angle, get that foot down, so then we can get a good push with that left foot, okay push with the left foot, right? But we really want to just be able to get that left foot out in front as well, okay? Get that heel up, so then we can start creating drive with that right leg, right, and be able to generate a good amount of momentum overall within the start, right? Because if we can get our feet down, especially when you're taller, right, like you could probably get away with generating, trying to get a little bit more force into the ground and power into the ground if you're, 5'8", 5'9", right? But like Fred Kurley being what is he, 6'3", right? Yeah, 6'3", okay? Like he just needs to get his feet down, right, and be able to get his feet in front and have good control, right? So then he could just use his length, right? So like what's critical for him is for this step to not be, right? So it lands at 1186, okay? Like he needs to be off the ground around that 12-second mark, okay? Right on the dot, 12 seconds. All right, so those are the things that end up making a big difference, okay? So now how does he do it, right? He lands with his foot underneath his hip, okay? I know we don't have a great view for this, but we can just see like when he lands, we can see where his foot is, we can see where his hip is, right? He has a good amount of range of motion. He has a good deep hip socket, right? That's where those deadlifts come into play, RDLs come into play. A little bit of squatting, if you can get good at being able to kind of initiate the action of being able to kind of, sit back a little bit more. But really, it's going to be more like the hinge movements are going to be important in being able to make sure that we have the hips in a good position, right? And then still have the flexibility within this ankle to have that heel up. Okay, so then he's landing underneath him so he can transition right back off. So that third step for him is really when he starts to reach. Okay, so notice this one down quick, boom, this one down quick, boom, and then third step, you start to reach. Okay, so then you're hitting down here, and now you can see that those legs start to straighten out here, right? So now he's trying to get those legs to be straightened out. Look at how straight that foot landed, right? So that's step number 5. We just kind of talked about this. This is step number 1, right? So see how low he is in terms of where his hip and his body, right, in terms of his legs, okay? How bent, I guess, could be a good way to put it, okay? Because he's in a pretty similar spine position here, but see how much straighter that leg is, right? So he's rising up through the hips. He's doing a good job of rising up through the hips and still maintaining weight on the front part of the foot. So like what I see here, and you can see like it's very easy for this to happen because this like 4th step is not a great step, okay? So watch, look at it. He's a little bit more out in front, right? He's a little bit more on that back part of his body, okay? And he is more flat-footed. Right, so this isn't a great step. He's still able to make up for it because he was still pretty long, and this step was a really, really good step for him. Right, that 5th step was really good. 6th step, again, not great, but was able to make up for it pretty good by having a good quality push-off. Right, again, that right step on the 7th was really good. Makes up for it much better here on the 8th. He's a little bit tight in those hips on the outside part of his left hip. Right, he's a little bit tight. He's very, very loose within that right side. right? So he has a little bit of some muscle inefficiency that he has within that left leg that he could definitely work on. But look at how much more effective he is at being able to get the feet out in front. And again, a lot of this comes from how quickly he's able to get his feet down, right? So third step, that's where he's down. Like there's guys here that are shorter than him, right, that still don't have their third step down in the ground. He's down in the ground with that third step. Off right here, okay? He's off at that 12.2. Okay, a lot of this guy's off at least, right? But these guys, he's on. He's in the same position as Kurley, right? He's same position as Kurley. He's still on. Okay, point being is Fred Kurley's probably the tallest guy out of this whole heat, right? And so he has his feet down faster than some of these guys that are significantly shorter than him. Right, especially this guy. This guy's trying way too hard to generate power. Okay, like he needs to be much more understanding of how to utilize lateral force, right? And understand that the best thing that he could do for himself is to be able to use some of that size, some of that quickness, right? If you're trying to create too much power at the beginning, then you're going to run out of power too early, right? So once he gets into these steps here, now he's trying too hard to generate speed. He's trying too hard to be able to reach. Okay, look at how easy it is for Kurley to get his feet out in front, right? He's looking nice and smooth. These other guys look like they're like trying to force their legs out in front, right? Where Kurley's just able to maintain that position. Excellent start. I mean, the big thing is going to be, can he repeat this, right? Like, can Fred Kurley repeat this? Because like you can even see, so look at this. Boom, look at how well he's landing with his foot right underneath this hip. Okay, perfect landing right there. 5-3, right? Whoops, 5-3. Off at 6-3. Okay, I would even say he's a little bit long. He's probably already kind of easing up here. Say probably in like this area is when he is at his best. 2-6 off by 3-3. Right? Like right here, this is what he's going to be. This is what the Fred Kurley you're going to have to beat. Is this. If he can hold this for a long period of time, then he's going to be tough to stop. Look at how fast his foot's off the ground. Boom, right, landing with right here, right in that 7-0 area, right, is off the ground by 7-6 on this, right? I mean, he's probably about at 0.08, right? I mean, those are just crazy numbers. That's crazy efficiency. This is what he needs to be able to get, right? If he can do this in the finals, he might run in the 9.6s, easily in the 9.6s, maybe even below that. Fred Kurley, after this, after seeing his start, I would say he is the favorite to win it all, in my opinion. If he can get the same type of start, right? Because he ran probably 60 meters. When he's getting here, he's not even running, right? And he ran 9.86. So, I think he could have ran a lot closer to, 9.83. If he could have kept on running here, right, if he would have continued to accelerate, I think he got to top speed, right? Don't get me wrong. I don't think he didn't not get to top speed. I think he got to top speed, but he just didn't really hold it. He just got to top speed and then just kind of maintained form, cruise through the end. Look at how these steps, look at how far back his legs are overall, and even his foot contact time. 0.6, like he's spending way more time off the ground, letting that leg come way back behind him. Right, he's not near as smooth, near as upright. And a lot of guys we see, do these types of kind of sloppy mechanics, right, and are not nearly as efficient, right, or therefore aren't nearly as efficient, right? So like you can see the difference between when he's running with great mechanics, right, the extension, the quick foot contact, right, like how much ability he has to be able to stabilize within his feet. This is the goal. Stop running like this, right? How he is when he's slowing down is not the right running mechanics. It's not the right running form. Being able to maximize horizontal force, right? The better we can utilize horizontal force, the better we're going to be as sprinters, right? The faster we're going to be able to go. Okay, and you might have the ability to run really fast when you're just running flies, right? When you're just able to just sprint. Okay, but if we can work on being able to be great at getting through the start, great at getting through the drive phase, then we'll be able to run great top end speeds, right? There's a lot of guys that I work with currently, right, younger athletes that are great at top speed, and are still learning how to be able to put it all together when it comes to start, to drive, to top end speed. So that's a normal thing to be able to work through all that. What ends up being your Achilles heel is if you think or if you believe that because that ends up being your issue, or because it isn't something that came supernaturally to you, if you believe that that is your life, right? If you believe that that's going to be your circumstance, if you believe that that's going to be your reality, okay? A lot of us live our future selves, right? Live in our minds are already predicting our future selves before that even ends up being the reality, right? So we already have a preset destination in our mind, a preset of where it is that we're going to be because of our understanding of our present situation. If we get too caught up in how our present situation is going to affect our future, then that puts a ceiling on what our future can be. Okay, we want to be able to have a great understanding of how we can continue to progress. But these are huge performance indicators when it comes to mentality. Is how well do we project ourselves into the future, and how do we relate to our current circumstance? So if we relate to our current circumstance like this is something that I can't fix, or it's hard to fix, or I've been trying to fix it, or blah, 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 then the ability to be able to actually correct it becomes a lot more difficult. So the language matters. How we interpret it, how we look at it, all makes a big difference. And also who are around you and how are they interacting with you? What is the information you're getting from the people around you? All this makes a big difference. Okay? And this is why I do this. This is why I coach. This is why I love what I do. Right? I love being able to help you guys in understanding all the parts of performance. And I'm not perfect. I don't make it seem like I am perfect, but I also have worked through and realized where I have made my own mistakes from a performance perspective, from a mentality perspective, from a decision-making perspective, and realized that the blame is on me. Right? I have more control of my life than I realize. I wish I would have realized how much control I have of my life at an earlier age. As soon as I start to put blame on other people, my dad, my coaches, my situations, but where I went to college, what ended up happening to me, then that's what caused the future to be the way that it was. Right? The more you could start to take control of the actions, take control of the situation, take control of your performance, the better your performance will end up being. When I realize that it's my fault that I don't have speed, not anybody else's fault, I got faster, right? When I realized that it's my fault that I can't throw the ball as well as I could, I got better at throwing the football. When I realized it was my fault that I'm not making as much money, right, that I don't have a profitable business, I started making more money, right? If you're not willing to measure it, if you're not willing to look at it objectively, then the chances of it changing go down significantly. If that connected with you, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Like and subscribe. There's so many people that watch these videos and aren't even subscribed. It hurts me. Why do you guys continue to just use me? Man, subscribe. Come on, subscribe. Give me a subscription. If you haven't subscribed, let's do it. It's time. It's time to commit to your future. I'm gonna help you out. Whether you buy a program, you don't buy a program, whatever, subscribe. Talk to you guys soon.